Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you're viewing this. My name is Mike. I am the Crypto Liberal. Hey, do you have some spare time? Do me a favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you know when I'm making new videos because I think we need to make some moves here shortly. Maybe get out of a trade that we're already in, maybe take some action on Bitcoin depending on, your financial situation, your financial research. None of this is financial advice. So you need to make your own financial decisions, but I might be making some moves. And so hit that bell notification so you know when I am doing that. Let's start with today we're going to talk about Bitcoin, why I think it's about to get rejected, and maybe move back down from this little relief rally we've had. We're going to talk about Ethereum and why our killer trade might be time to take some profits. And that's pretty much it. We're going to try to keep the video a little bit shorter today. So if you appreciate that, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Let's just start with the stock market, right? The stock market today had a good day, up 0.5% on the Dow, a full percent on the S&P, and almost a 1.5% on the Nasdaq. But the bigger news probably is this DXY. DXY, continues to move down, and we were at 109 just a week or two ago, and now we're at 106.5. So if that continues to move down, right, keep an eye on that because the stock market and the crypto market are inversely correlated to the DXY. So if the DXY continues to move down, maybe some good news is coming. Obviously, the biggest factor in the macro environment right now is next week's Fed meeting. They're going to raise rates. It's going to probably be 75 bips. But if they decide to raise it by a full percent, maybe the market isn't ready for that, and it will meet some downward pressure with that decision. We'll see. If they only raise it a 0.5%, maybe the market takes off. But either way, I don't think crypto in particular is ready for a big bull run at this point. I think we're due for a lot more weeks, if not a lot more months, of sideways chop, if not a little more downward pressure after this relief rally. So, I'd be careful out there, is I guess what I'm trying to say. So let's. The other obviously big news in the past 24 hours has been Elon Musk selling $1 billion worth of Bitcoin at pretty much the bottom. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't know why you'd sell it at the bottom, or Tesla sold it at the bottom, actually. But you know what? The guy is not the sharpest knife in the drawer. His favorite coin is Dogecoin, a meme coin that has zero utility. So I'm not surprised that his second favorite coin, Bitcoin, has pretty much zero utility except for number move up. Essentially that's what the Bitcoin maxis try to tell you, right? That the their only thing that they ever advocate is that Bitcoin is going to be $1 million someday. That's all you hear them talk about. But if you go on to Cardano Twitter or Ethereum Twitter, they're talking about real utility, real things that are going to change people's lives. And we've talked about this, for example, a million times. World Mobile built on the backs of Cardano, who is trying to connect the unconnected, trying to get people on the internet. And if they get on the internet, right, they have access to healthcare that maybe they didn't have before, banking products maybe they didn't have before, the opportunity to take out a micro loan from anywhere in the world. They could start a business, and all of a sudden their customer goes from the 50 people in their village to a billion people worldwide. So getting people on the internet is a real use case, real utility that will change people's lives, being built on the backs of Cardano. Where is that on Bitcoin? Really, their use cases number go up. You don't hear that they're trying to get people on the internet, and in fact, the fact that they don't. What are those people in Africa going to do? What's their response to those people in Africa as far as Bitcoin's utility? Their response is, well, you should buy it because you'll make money off of it. Well, they can't buy it. They don't have the internet. So you know, yeah, my point is Elon Musk getting out of Bitcoin. I don't think really it impacts my hypothesis that Cardano will outperform Ethereum. Cardano will outperform Ethereum and Bitcoin by the end of the year, a year from now, and 5 years from now. And Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin by those same timeframes because they have real use case utility. They're changing people's lives. They seek to improve their protocol. They're advancing their protocol. They're changing it and improving it. Almost daily, if not weekly, or monthly. Right? Vassal coming out for Cardano. Ethereum moving to 2.0, the merge, and moving to proof of stake, improving their protocols and leaving Bitcoin behind essentially. And and that's my hypothesis, right? Cardano and Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin, and I seek to prove that to you on a daily basis, both here and on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at crypto_liberal. How do I prove it to you? By collecting data. The data I collect is every week. Since I've been doing this channel for 11 weeks, we put $100 into ADA, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. And we track the performance, right? We're dollar cost averaging in all three to prove my hypothesis that Ethereum and Cardano will outperform Bitcoin by the end of the year to start with. Well, how's that looking? Well, look, I mean, today they're outperforming Bitcoin, drastically. But look at, so we've done it for 11 weeks. We put $1,100 into each of these. So Ethereum's the only one up against the US dollar, but both Ethereum and ADA are outperforming Bitcoin already. And the good news hasn't even hit yet. Vassal hasn't launched yet. Ethereum hasn't merged yet. When those launch, the good news will compound itself essentially, and the improvement over Bitcoin will grow exponentially. It's already improving, and there hasn't been significant change to their protocols yet. It's since we started this experiment. And when those changes occur, improvements occur to Ethereum and Cardano, the outperformance over Bitcoin will just grow, right? When Vassal launches, the amount of DeFi projects, dApps, stable coins, and NFT projects that will launch on Cardano because of the improved scalability will just grow exponentially. And it's already growing before Vassal. So the outperformance is just going to go crazy in the next 6 months to a year to 5 years. And that's why I advocate for Cardano and Ethereum over Bitcoin. And it's proving out. It's proving itself on this channel daily. So if you appreciate that, give me a like, give me a subscribe. So let's talk about Bitcoin, right? I want to talk about Bitcoin first, and why I think it's going to get rejected here. So again, I look at the Coinbase chart and I look at the daily chart for Bitcoin. Now, check this out, right? So on this channel, after the Terra Luna dump back here in middle of June, right? We broke below this blue line, and I said this blue line is our first resistance area, and it served itself well, perfectly, right? I didn't think it was going to be that big of a resistance, but I said it's there, and it proved itself, right? We wicked up to it this day on July 8th and got rejected, and we were rejected for a week, 2 weeks, and came back up to it just on July 18th, a few days ago. Got rejected, right? Look at this wick down, and that the next morning of July 19th, we got rejected. But you know what dragged it up? Ethereum, essentially, right? So we broke that blue line. But I've always said on this channel, for weeks now, I've had this red line up here. And I said, that's the big line. That's the one that we're not going to get past. That's the one we're going to get rejected off. And how long we're going to get rejected off of, I don't know, but we're going to get rejected off of. It is a huge line of resistance. And maybe this wick up that we had yesterday, maybe that is the rejection right there. I mean, we wicked up to about 24.4, and right now I have that red line set at 24.8, and maybe that is the rejection. As I've said on this channel, right, that red line is more a zone, right? It's not it's a definitive line on the chart. You can tell exactly where it is at any given day, but you got to think of it more of a zone, because again, I look at that Coinbase chart, but there's the Bitfinex chart and Bitstamp chart. I mean, there's several charts, and you could draw that red line on each of them. But each of them might be, when you draw that red line based on prior support and resistance levels, that chart might be a couple $100 off in either direction. So you got to think of that red line as a zone, and maybe that is the rejection. I don't know. The other thing of note here, right, is that blue line that we talked about as resistance for weeks. Well, now it's serving as support, right? We wicked down to it today. Look at that. And it bounced off. So it's serving as support. It's doing its job. It's doing exactly what you'd expect it to do, serve as support. So in the next few days, right, the next few days are going to be key. Are we going to break the red line, the resistance, and move up? Or are we going to break the support, the blue line, and move down? Keep an eye on that. We'll talk about that on this channel. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you know when I'm making new videos, because we will talk about what I see happening based on whether we break resistance or whether we break support. So, you know, and why do I think this resistance is so strong, right? So let's go back. We can go back. Like, look at, I think we're getting rejected. I think that's a rejection off of it right now. But look at how awesome that served as support, that red line, for like a month, just a couple months ago. And then go back further. Like, look at, bounced right off of it there. Perfect support, in January of this year. Perfect support. And go back further. Look at this. Bounced right off of it in September of last year. Perfect support. Beautiful. And look at this. So back here, after we were below it for 3 months, perfect resistance in July of last year. Went up to it, resistance, got rejected for like a week, and then we finally broke above it. And then, you can go back here. Look at it. Back in April of last year, after we had visited 64,000, we came down, tested that as support, bounced off, perfect support. Back here even, you could consider this support in March of last year. And then, before we broke above it, back here in March, earlier in March of last year, tested as resistance, broke down for a couple days before we got above it. So this line is served as such perfect resistance and support multiple times over the past, almost 2 years at this point. So we're not going to break above it really easily, in my opinion. So again, keep your eyes open for the next few days. Do we hold support, the blue line, or do we bust below support and go back down to, maybe 20,000 and see what happens? Or do we break resistance and go to 28,000? Everybody I see on Twitter and everybody I see on YouTube is talking about there being no volume between where we're at right now and 28,000. So when we broke that blue line, everybody, I'm talking everybody I see on Twitter and YouTube talks that we're going to 28,000 just automatically, or we're going to 30,000. And I don't see it that way, right? So keep an eye on that red line, because I think it's a very valid resistance level right now. And I'm literally the only person that's talking about it on Twitter and YouTube right now. I haven't seen one other person talking about this red line. So if it plays out, I really appreciate a like and subscribe, because, I think that's valuable information, and I'm the only one talking about it right now. So that's my Bitcoin story, right? I'm sticking to it. I'm not going to get excited about Bitcoin again until we break above that red line, hold it as support for 7 days, 2 weeks, a month, something. We'll talk about it as we get there, but that's when I'll get excited about Bitcoin again. But one thing I am excited about, and I hope you're excited about it, the thing I'm most excited about right now is Ethereum. We are killing it on Ethereum, and it's almost time to take some profits. So let's just check that out, and that's the last thing I want to talk about today, right? Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So those of you new to my channel, I look at the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart. And again, I look at the Coinbase chart and I look at the weekly chart. So just to get everybody on the same page again, this red line down here, right, serves as support. And I've had this red line on here for weeks and weeks. And I told you back here on this last giant red candle, on the week of June 6th, I said, I brought it to my channel that night, when we touched this red line, I brought it to the channel that night, the most opportune moment to get into Ethereum versus Bitcoin. And so I didn't bring it to you 3 weeks early nor 3 weeks too late. I brought to you the exact opportune moment. So if you appreciate that, give me a like, give me a subscribe, because that's the type of things I try to do on this channel, right? So I brought it to you that night when one Ethereum was worth about 0.052 Bitcoin. And look at since that night, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 6 weeks green. 5 out of 6 weeks bullish. And why am I saying that I'm about ready to take some profit, right? That night I told you I'm getting in. I told you I'm looking for like a 50% profit, which would be this upper blue line, this 0.07, it's about 0.077 Bitcoin, right? And why? Because this is an ascending triangle, and you can look at it. Right? We'll squeeze this down here. Look at this ascending triangle. Look how perfectly that support is played out. I called it. I played it out perfectly. But look at the resistance up here, this upper blue line. Look how often that serves as resistance. So I think we're destined to come back to that upper blue line. You know, I didn't take profits at this lower blue line, even though I think that was a valid line, and it kind of served as a little bit of resistance, but not much. You know, I didn't talk about taking profits there. I'm talking about taking profits up at this upper blue line. And that's where I think I'll move some Ethereum out, move it out of Ethereum, and you know, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it at this point. Maybe put it in a stable coin, maybe put it in a Cardano. I don't think I'm going to put it back into Bitcoin. I think I'm very comfortable with my decision to move out of Bitcoin at this point. I think alt season is here, and we're killing it on all our alt calls except maybe one where we're losing just a little tiny bit, and that's Polkadot. We're not going to talk about that today because it will turn around. I'm convinced it's going to turn around because everything else is working on this channel. So why wouldn't that? We're winning our Cardano call out. I didn't get into Matic, but that would have been probably the most bullish one, right? The day I brought it to the channel, I said, keep an eye on Matic, and it exploded. And I wish I would have gotten in, but I didn't. But Matic has exploded versus Bitcoin. So if you appreciate me bringing these to the channel, right at the exact opportune moment to get in, and I hope some of you did, you know, pile into Matic when I brought it to the channel. Hope some of you are into the Ethereum trade with me. I hope some of you are in the Cardano trade with me because they're just getting started. This is the opportune time. This is the time you want to recognize alt season and avoid, you know, the non-utility coin that is Bitcoin right at this moment. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you're having a great Thursday night. It is almost the weekend, so I hope you get to enjoy some family, some friend time, and you know, some outdoor time, get away from the charts, because you know, I think Bitcoin's about to get rejected. That red line is going to be strong resistance, and I'm the only one telling you about it. So if you appreciate that, give me a like, give me a subscribe. We will chat more tomorrow. My name is Mike. I am the Crypto Liberal. Good night.